Carlos Santana has persistently given off vibes that he's all about two things, music and spirituality. But is the man behind the music the same one we see on stage? Here's what his bandmates have said. At the 2000 Grammys, Santana's collaborative album Supernatural won 9 trophies. Among those wins was a Grammy for Best Group Rock Performance for Put Your Lights On, composed by the song's vocalist Eric Schroede, aka Everlast, a rapper who became a singer-songwriter after House of Pain disbanded. Despite Supernatural winning so many awards and eventually selling more than 30 million copies, Everlast doesn't think the success spoiled or even changed Carlos Santana in any meaningful way. Just after the Grammys that year, he told the Hartford Courant, "His vibe is the same no matter what. He's just the most gracious, spiritual dude you'd ever meet. He's happy, but I don't think this is affecting his energy." Santana enjoyed the biggest individual success of his career in 1999 with the hit Smooth, a smash hit across multiple radio formats that spent 12 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Pop chart. Smooth was the lead-off single from Santana's comeback album Supernatural and featured Matchbox 20's Rob Thomas on vocals. The Thomas-Santana team-up was short-lived by design, but working alongside Santana for only a little while left Thomas with a new approach to music. He told Rolling Stone that the record was put together just so, through sound, it could change people's molecular structure, and he sat me down and explained to me that as a musician, it's what we do. You can play one note and change the way people feel.
He taught me when I first met him that there's a big difference between being a famous musician and being a celebrity.
Talking about collaborating and being in the studio with Santana, Thomas added, "I don't know any other way of saying it, but I always just felt a little bit better after being with Carlos." Regarded as one of the best living conga players in the world, Puerto Rican-born Paoli Mejias formed his Paoli Mejias Latin Jazz Quintet in 2005. He paused work on that project in 2013 when he was asked to play the conga and various percussion in the touring version of Santana, replacing a succession of musicians that Santana didn't feel were quite right for the job. Vibing with the boss and all the other musicians on stage is extremely important in Santana, and to Carlos Santana himself. Mejias told Bienvenidos in 2018, "This is a big organization led by a megastar, and it requires certain energy, a positive attitude on stage, and they found this in me. Carlos says that he sees the light in me. Those are his words, not mine. He told me that he sees in me, the idea is that this energy projects itself on the stage to the audience." Timbales are freestanding two-headed drums traditionally played in Latin American musical styles. Nicaraguan musician Jose Chepito Reyes is one of the most accomplished timbale players in the world, and in the late 1960s he left the popular San Francisco Latin rock band The Aliens to join the Santana Blues Band at the behest of its creator. He was still a part of the group, then renamed Santana, when it played Woodstock and recorded its first self-titled album. After that incarnation of Santana began to splinter in the 1970s, Reyes continued working with Santana. However, when that initial lineup reunited in 2016, Reyes wasn't asked to participate. In a 2017 interview, Reyes hinted that Santana might be holding a grudge against him, though he didn't specify what it was about. He explained, "It's been hard trying to get close to Carlos throughout the years, even in the early days. I feel he's been somewhat distant even though he's been there. We've had a love-hate relationship." Santana is one of the few bands named after a frontman in which that frontman doesn't usually sing. The group requires a vocalist, and in 2016, Greene was tapped to be one of 2 alternating lead singers for the band on tour, a job that began immediately and ended his previous run as a vocalist for Tower of Power. Within weeks, Greene was bewitched by Carlos Santana and caught a glimpse into how the guitarist approaches his art. Greene told Berkeley Today, 5 months after he joined the band, "Santana sees music way differently than a lot of people do, which is cool. He's never settling, he's always trying different things. As long as you can be on the same wavelength with him, it can be a really cool experience. You get the sense that all he wants to do is play. He just loves playing the guitar." On all the early Santana hits that established the band's sound and reputation in the late 1960s, Carlos Santana's guitar meshed with the vocals of Gregg Rolie. An original member of Santana, Rolie left the band to form Journey in the 1970s. But despite leaving the group, Rolie has had nothing but good things to say about his time in the band and the man himself. In 2016, 4 decades after his initial departure from Santana's group, Rolie returned as part of the original lineup. That year, he told the Hudson Union Society, "Carlos plays from his heart, period. And if it doesn't have that, it won't have anything for you. You can see him when he plays. If we give that to him, he gives it to us. If we all have that, we give it to you."
He's not playing with his head, he's playing with his heart.
When Gregg Rolie left Santana, his absence created an opening for a singer to share the front of the stage. Greg Walker of the pop group A Taste of Honey stepped in to fill that void. In 1975, he made the move and sang on albums like Inner Secrets and Moonflower. From his decade or so with the group, Walker finally remembers Carlos Santana's leadership skills and how he would routinely and naturally take great pains to make his musicians feel comfortable, welcome, and valued. Walker told Museum of Making Music, "If he thought that you were under, maybe a little shy, he'd do something. He'd start telling jokes or something to make you come out of whatever you was in.
That's Carlos Santana, man. He just tried to lift you up in any way he possibly could.
After staging one of the biggest comebacks in rock history with Supernatural, Santana embarked on its biggest tour in years, the Supernatural World Tour. At that point, singer Andy Vargas was hired to provide the vocals for all the classic Santana songs on stage. Vargas went on to front Santana on around 20 different tours, and recorded occasionally with the band too. Still getting his career off the ground and forging his musical identity at the time, Vargas found a guiding force in Carlos Santana. Vargas told Sound Arts, "Carlos has been an amazing mentor to me both in music and personally. He has pushed me. Well, he has pushed all of us in the band to reach greater limits with our talent." Vargas also discussed Santana's unique musical process while talking about the song Do You Remember Me, saying, "I remember when Carlos brought this song to us in rehearsal. It was not long after it came to him in a dream." An acclaimed percussionist from Cuba sought out for his bongo and conga playing, Armando Peraza brought an authentic Latin American sound to Santana. Peraza enjoyed a particularly strong bond with Carlos, and he'd become one of the longest tenured musicians in the band, playing live and on albums from 1972 to 1990. He returned briefly in 1992 and several times into the 2000s before passing away in 2014. The artists shared a mutual respect. Santana considered Peraza a mentor and idol, and Peraza thought highly of Santana too, particularly his tendency to bring in overlooked musicians. Peraza told Conga Head in 2007 that Santana is always looking out for the underdog and fostering their talents.
Carlos Santana let you play. The better you play, the more he has you.
A go-to drummer for R&B, jazz, and rock bands, Dennis Chambers has spent time supporting bands like Parliament Funkadelic, Steely Dan, and George Duke. And from 2005 to about a decade later, he performed as the touring drummer in Santana. While aware of Carlos Santana's reputation as an exacting band leader, his lasting image of the guitarist is of an artistically voracious and driven individual, and one with whom it can be hard to keep pace. He told All About That Jazz, "Carlos listens to a lot of music, a lot of different types of music. He would hear something he liked, and it would inspire him to incorporate a sound or idea into his music. It wasn't unusual for him to bring us these changes and want to incorporate them into our shows right away." It's no big secret what Cindy Blackman thinks of Santana. After all, she married him. A solo act, jazz band leader, and session musician, Blackman found some fame when she joined Lenny Kravitz's band as a drummer in live gigs and in music videos. She held the job from 1992 until the mid-2000s. In 2010, Blackman got a call to play drums for Santana in the place of double-booked regular Dennis Chambers, and was struck by the group's vibe from the very beginning.
I was like, wow, feels really free. I mean, it was, within a certain format, but it felt like there was a nice, beautiful freedom there.
It didn't take long before their professional relationship blossomed into a romantic one built on their shared interest in spirituality and philosophy. Late in 2010, after Santana and his first wife split after 30 years, he married Blackman. In 2016, Cindy Blackman Santana joined Santana full-time. When Carlos Santana was ready to record the first album under the Santana moniker, he solidified his band's lineup and installed Michael Shrieve on the drums. Shrieve's persistent percussion can be heard in all the early milestone moments in the band's history. Talking with the Hudson Union Society in 2016, Shrieve recalled the moment he realized that he was part of something special and unique. Shortly after joining the band and participating in a grueling rehearsal session, Shrieve asked Santana to attend a movie with him. They set out on foot, but Santana abruptly stopped on the way. Shrieve recalled Santana saying, "Man, what do I want to go to the movies for? I want to be the movie."
It's true. I realized this is a different cat.
Shrieve remains in awe of Santana's musical aptitude and passion. He told the Jack Feinberg Show, "What he was searching for, he had that same, and still does by the way, the same sort of searching for the right note and the right tone and a master of melody. He's like an encyclopedia of melodies." Supernatural was a gift that kept on giving, with Maria Maria spending 10 weeks at #1 on the Billboard Pop Chart. The song featured the vocals of David McRae and Marvin Moore, otherwise known as the hip-hop act the Product G&B. McRae and Moore weren't all that excited about the collaboration with Santana at first because they didn't know anything about the guy.
I'm from the new school, so I didn't know who Carlos Santana was, you know what I'm saying?
They met him for the first time in a recording studio to create Maria Maria and had no idea what to expect. Recalling the moment, Moore told Billboard, "He came in with magic marker drawn on his sneakers and we were thinking, he's a guy who brings in the guitars or something, and he's actually Santana. You would have thought he was somebody's grandfather coming from the bus stop." But when they started making music together, it was magical, according to Moore, who added that it, quote, was a genuine mesh, a synergy, and it just worked.